Hello, it's 10 Foot Truck, Good Attitude Services. It's a great day today. The weather is absolutely fantastic. September has the best weather out here in my area, hands down. It's going to be in the 70s and 80s, and that's it. No higher than that. Just nice sunny weather. Perfect for working. Just got back from a job. I didn't even have to bring my truck. I just loaded my trusty appliance dolly and put it in the car and drove it over and helped a guy bring up a refrigerator out of his basement and bring it to his into his kitchen. It was an older fridge, so beware with the older, the solid refrigerators, these older ones. I'm not sure what year it was, but the construction, of course, is more solid, so it's got a lot more weight on it. So it did take a little bit of effort to get that thing up the stairs. And I just was talking to him about how I heard a story from my dad, who he had bought a 1939, I don't know the brand, but it was a 1939 refrigerator he had bought his mother, my grandmother. And I remember when my grandmother passed away in around 2004 or 2005, I'm not sure, around that time. She was 97 years old, and she had when they were cleaning the house out, she had the same refrigerator from the one that my dad had bought her. It was like I said, I didn't believe the story at first, but he said it was a 1939, and that thing was still working for all those years. It was still operating, and still the food was cold and everything. So I was like, wow, man, they really did make things built to last back in those days. And now I hear about people having to replace their refrigerators in 5 years or whatever. They get problems with these high-tech refrigerators, and these old ones, like from the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, even 30s. In fact, what's crazy is I'm sitting there talking to the customer, and then we get the refrigerator into his house, and he said, you mentioned your dad had bought a 39 refrigerator. He's like, you know what? I just bought one here locally he bought it somewhere, and he has it, and it's operating, it's working. So yeah, I mean, the quality of appliances has gone. I mean, they do have the appliances now are all fancy with all the electronics and all the stuff that's going on, and the sensors and all that. But the quality build of those old appliances, you don't have that anymore, and they are heavier, they're more solid, and they last longer. But it's interesting to see that. I know, like, some of the old washers and dryers and some of that seem to last longer. I remember having an old refrigerator that I think it was from the 70s, and that thing lasted quite a long time. So I don't know what's going on. Things aren't built like to last anymore. But then, of course, that's more business. That's more money for these companies if you have to keep replacing your refrigerator every 5 years or 8 years or whatever, as opposed to keeping it for a lifetime and just repairing it. Now, I remember back in the day, they used to have appliance repairmen, and they would repair, instead of throwing them out, you would repair them. A lot of people, it's more of I mean, that's probably why junk removal, you get so many appliances and things that need to be thrown out or recycled, is because the longevity of these products is not as long as it used to be. Like televisions, I think I was talking to another customer about these smart TVs and how they're getting really, really cheap, and but they don't last long. It's like, of course, I still have an old analog TV. I don't use it. I just use it sometimes. I'll put have it hooked to a VHS machine. I'm not a VHS, a DVD machine. I play old DVDs on it, and the screen, doesn't look as good. But some people use those old TVs to play like retro games and stuff. And those old TVs, they were heavy. But, now these new TVs, they're like really light. Even the big, huge ones are still pretty light. But technology is wonderful. It's you get all these crazy things you can do now. All the smart TVs can do. But do they last as long? Probably not. And I think that goes with pretty much all appliances and things like that. They're fancy, they have a lot of gadgets, but they don't last as long. And same with cars. I mean, although cars these days, the motors seem to go longer. You get more mileage on the motors, I've noticed. But like as far as a lot of the plastic and all that just starts to fall apart. So, and then of course, if you get more computers in your car, you know, and the more and more computers that go into a car, of course, a lot more stuff can go wrong. So, yeah, the maintenance can be a little more expensive on those. But I just thought it was funny. I mean, it was interesting to see that that old refrigerator, and yeah, just wanted to talk about that. But other than that, just did that job and hoping to book some more. I got another move coming up, and it's going to be a rough one because I got a move coming up. It's going to be 3 flights up, or no, 3 flights down, but I think I can use an elevator. But the customer indicated that the new place is going to, it's going to be 4 flights, and I don't think there's an elevator, so that's going to be a lot of stair climbing. Now, the worst stair climbing I've ever done was way back when I was working for a furniture company or a furniture store. We were mainly delivering sofas, but sometimes we deliver other things, but mostly sofas. And we went to this place, and this was in California. Back when I worked for a furniture store in San Francisco, California, when I lived there back in the early 90s. And it's right after I finished my truck driving job when I was doing cross country, 48 states driving a semi truck. When I came back, I got the job driving a box truck for furniture store. And that was a great job until they closed. That was actually a really good job. But we came across the place because some of these older buildings in San Francisco, they don't have the elevators are really small. They're like from the 1800s, or they're very small, or 1900s, whatever, way back. And they were designed for smaller. I guess people didn't have sofas that big or whatever, but you couldn't fit. The sofas we were selling were fairly large and had high backs, and they were bigger than your average sofa. And we show up to this guy's, and they're really expensive. We show up to this customer's apartment, and it's one of these high-rise places, and it wasn't going to go in the elevator. There's no way. It just wasn't going to fit. It was too tall. The elevator wasn't tall enough or wide enough. It just wouldn't. Dimensions weren't. It wasn't going to fit in there. So the guy actually paid us extra to climb the stairs to his apartment, and get this, it was 10 stories up. So I'm not kidding you, we had to walk 10 flights up. He really wanted that sofa. What they do in some of those old cities, like it's notorious in like cities like those older cities like San Francisco and Boston. I've seen this done in Boston too, and I've seen it in San Francisco when I lived there. They would use cranes sometimes to get like a piano into one of these places because they couldn't fit in the elevator, or there was no service elevator like that in those buildings. So they would usually hire a guy with a crane to bring big items, and then they would open the window and they would put the items way up, and they had to block the streets off and all that. Of course, we're not going to do a crane for a sofa, so we walked it up the stairs. We would take breaks every couple stairs, go up 2 flights, take a break, but we did it. So I know how stairs go. I don't think I'd ever do that again. I think 3 flights. Now, I'm not looking forward to 4 flights, but if you take your time when you're doing these stairs, like a lot of stairs, it's okay. You just have to take your time. You don't want to overdo it, but that's my next move. It's going to be a lot of stairs, and it seems that's been the theme of my last week, is a lot of staircases, either coming out of basements or going up 3 flights. So yeah, I mean, not all the moves, not all the removals are going to be ground level, which I wish they were, but if you think about it, a helicopter, it's interesting sounding. Like I said, anyway, helicopter going by, but so yeah, I mean, a lot of people will hire you specifically because they don't want to, have to deal with stairs. So sometimes that's just the way you got to go. I don't know if you guys charge extra for stairs or not. I used to, but then I'm just charging, like if I'm doing moving I'm also charging hourly, so usually it's going to take a lot longer to do stairs because the time going up and down. So sometimes I don't even charge extra because I'm charging the time anyway. But I know some people do have stair charges. I haven't done that lately. It's going to be included in the amount of time that I have to take. It is a lot more physically, exhausting, but that's kind of that goes with the job anyway. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to talk about the appliances and stairs, I guess. That's about it. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be awesome weather. I'm hoping to get some really good jobs this weekend while the weather is nice. So taking advantage of being out in some nice weather and making some money. Anyway, this is Daryl at 10 Foot Truck, Good Attitude Services, signing out. Have a great day.